Good morning, guys. How are we doing? Today is the 10th of August, 2022. I kind of wanted to continue on the whole toxic is toxic thing that we were talking about yesterday with toxic family being toxic family and you having the right to walk away. Well, there's something else I want to talk about, which is a very unpopular opinion and honestly something that I've had experience in, and it's, something that a lot of parents feel they can't do. Okay, so being a parent is a hard job. It's a hard job for anybody. It's really, really hard for someone who has neurodivergence, as in autism or ADHD. It's even harder for those who have had trauma. It's hard for anybody who's not even been through anything at all whatsoever. And you're doing the best job you can with the skills that you have. Now, they may not be great skills. You may just be buggering it around just like everybody else is, but you're doing the best that you can. Now, there becomes a time when things can get incredibly difficult, and that's if a child's personality is toxic. Not all kids come out the same way, and it's not all your fault, okay? Some kids come out and they've got major personality defects, okay? The kind of defects that it doesn't matter how they grew up. They could have grown up in the most loving, caring, wonderful household, that they had everything. They had all of mum and dad's attention. They had everything they could possibly want. They wanted for nothing. They lacked nothing. There was all positivity in their life, and they could still go and kill 32 people. No trauma, nothing wrong. They got brought up the way that they were meant to be brought up, and they've still done that, But it didn't start there, okay? It started with torturing pets, torturing neighborhood pets, you knowing that you wouldn't be able to give that child a hamster because within a couple of days it would be dead in its cage. This is what I'm talking about, or kids that are just. Now, as parents, it's really, really difficult, and you try everything you possibly can to help that child as much as you possibly can, but there has to come a point where you can turn around and go, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. I need help. And you need to go and ask for it. And if you can't get it, then you bounce up and down and you make a scene until you can get it. Because I know once you got to that point, you've already jumped through the hoops. You've done everything you possibly humanly can. And at that point, you need to walk away. And they've become an adult. You can turn around and say, I don't want you here. I do not want you in my home. You're an adult. You don't have to feel, and it's very, very difficult. I know it's very difficult, but you don't have to feel like it's on you. Different cultures have different ages, but the age of knowing the difference between right and wrong, basically, parents fight this, and they fight for their kids, and they will continue to fight for the kids till the day that they die, right? I know, I am a parent, but there are some kids out there that you really need you need professional help with. And if you can't get that professional help, then you need to walk away. You need to take them somewhere safe so that you can get the help that you need, and just say, I've begged you. I've begged you for help. I've begged you for help. They're your problem. Now, I'm not talking about whether you have an issue with the fact that they believe they're not the gender that they were born with. I'm not talking about whether their sexuality appeases your religious beliefs. I'm not talking about anything like that. What I'm talking about is kids that have a little bit of a personality defect that is dangerous, that is toxic. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot. The ones where you have to lock your bedroom door at night because you're not sure whether you're going to be alive in the morning if you don't. The kids where you have to watch the younger siblings because you don't know if something's going to happen to them. Or even the older siblings, because that happens too. The ones where you wouldn't leave the pets alone, home alone with. The ones where you wouldn't leave a babysitter with, without the babysitter bringing along a friend. Them. That's what I'm talking about. The kids that no matter what you do or what you say or the lessons that you teach them will never learn the lessons because they were born with severe sociopathic, narcissistic tendencies, probably psychotic. No one expects you to go it alone. And if you desperately need that help enough that you need to march them off to family services and go, they are your problem, I cannot deal with this, then that's what you have to do. Or if you've got to the point where they are adults over the age of 18, then kick them out. If that's what you have to do, then kick them out. And go, no, you don't live here anymore. You know? It's hard. I know it's hard. Okay? I know it's hard. I do. I've been there. I've seen it. You know? I had to turn on a hose onto my 2-year-old who had my then 7-year-old so tied up in his fingers in it with his hair, smashing his face in the concrete. You know? But every time I tried to drag him off, he was dragging his hair with him. 2 years old. At 2 years old. And it doesn't matter how much love you give them, and it doesn't matter what you do. And it could be just one mistake that you make. And it will flip that button and they will just turn. I wasn't a perfect parent. I'm not going to say that I was, because I wasn't. But what I will say is this, is you don't have to tolerate them being toxic to you, them abusing you, them verbally or physically or emotionally or socially or in any way abusing you. That is parental abuse. It is a thing, and people need to understand it more widely. Okay? I know it's a tough subject this morning, but if you need permission to say enough is enough when it comes to one of your kids, then this is your permission to get that help. This is your permission to get that help. Because abuse is abuse. Toxicity is toxicity. And whether you gave birth to it or not, you don't have to tolerate it in your home, in your haven, in your safe space. You don't need to tolerate it. Okay, so there are steps you can take. You go to social services, you go to family services, whatever they're called in your hometown, or wherever you live, or whatever your country is, and you take them down there. Or you ring them first and say, what are my options here, because I can't deal with this anymore. Sending your child to juvie is not exactly something that will help. It was something that will increase their skill set. But there are foster homes and there are organisations that are there to deal with kids like this, and they do give them help. But do your research and make sure they go to one of those if you still want to help, before you get to the point where you want to put a pillow over their face. Because let's be honest, that's where it gets to. You know it is. We all get to that point. We all get to that breaking point. And, you know, that's just how it is. But toxic kids, you don't have to, it's a hard subject. And I'm not talking about those who are autistic. I'm not talking about those who are ADHD. That's a whole nother subject altogether. I'm talking about the ones that should be called Damien. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go. You guys, if you need help, get help. Ring the emergency lines in your country or wherever you are, if that's what you need to do. Call the police on your kids. Let them know that you're not going to tolerate it. You know, get help. Ring social services. Get help. Okay. I love you guys heaps. Take very good care of yourselves. Do what you have to do to protect you. Blessings.